pictures proving that they do use this golden cup in their ceremonies. And even if you look close on some of the coins that were minted by the Vatican, you can see the whore holding the golden cup. And in other ones, they have the golden cup engraved into certain windows in the Vatican. And it usually is associated with IHS, which stands for the false gods of Egypt, Isis, Horus, and Set. So no, it's not Mary or Jesus. It's not a Christian church. It's a pseudo-Christian Babylonian cult is what it is. And it's an abomination and a stench in God's nostrils, which will get dealt with very soon. See, everything that the Catholic Church stands for, its symbols, its worship, and ceremonies, are all rooted in Egyptian and Babylonian paganism. Even back in Babylon, they had a god called Dagon, the fish god, and it was said that he would wear fish heads on his head. Well, if you compare that to the Pope's mitre, looks awful familiar, doesn't it? Here's an Egyptian headdress with the same fish head resemblance to it. See, Babylon and Egypt both got destroyed by God in the Old Testament, so I don't think I would want anything to do with either of those cities. But, hey, it's the Catholic Church. What do you expect? See, Babylon's mother and child goddesses, or goddess and sun god, were worshipped as Semiramis and Tammuz. Then in Egypt as Isis and Horus. Then in Ephesus as Diana, which is mentioned in the Bible in Acts 19:27, the goddess by herself. But at the Council of Ephesus in 431 AD, after Jesus, Diana was renamed Mary, and Mary worship became official Catholic doctrine as to attract the Christians. The solar disk of Isis became Mary's halo, Diana's necklace became Mary's rosary, and the titles of Semiramis, Mediatrix, and Queen of Heaven were transferred to Mary. How nice. Here's an ancient Babylonian tablet depicting a priest on it. And guess what he's got on his chest there? Yeah, a Knights Templar cross. And here's another tablet with the sun disk on it. See, it all goes back to sun worship. Anything besides the one true God, which they also use in the Roman Catholic Church. There it is above St. Peter's head. And here's another tablet depicting the sun disk, which is the 8-pointed star. And if you look at the Vatican from a satellite photo, there it is, right there, with the Egyptian pagan obelisk male phallus in the middle of it. See, it all goes back to astrology and Lucifer worship is what it reverts back to. And that fulfills the prophecy in Revelation 17 that says she will be called Mystery Babylon. The next prophecy about this pseudo-Christian Babylonian Antichrist abomination we will look at is found in Daniel 7:25. And it says, he will also think to change times and laws. Now here's a quote from their own Catholic doctrine that says, the Pope has power to change times, to abrogate laws, and to dispense with all things, even the precepts of Christ. Okay, he's taken on Jesus' resume, like it's open, for discussion. Now the Catholic Church, under the rule of Pope Gregory XIII, and with the help of Caesar, changed the times by introducing a pagan calendar, which changed the Sabbath day from Saturday to Sunday. See, they made the last day, which was Saturday, Sunday, and they made the first day, which was Sunday, Monday. And regarding laws, the Catholic Church thinks to change God's laws, or the commandments, to where their commandments don't include, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Thou shalt not bow thyself down to them, nor serve them. To make up for this deletion, they split the last commandment in half. So yeah, you get God's laws, and they just said, yeah, this doesn't, we don't need that one. We'll just take that one out, and we'll just split that last one in half, because, we're the occultic, pseudo-Christian whore Babylon, and we think we can do that. And they didn't realize they were doing the exact thing that the Bible said the Antichrist would do. So the Bible says that the Antichrist system would rise from the divided kingdoms of Rome, and the papacy rose from the divided kingdoms of Rome. The Bible then says that it would subdue 3 of these kingdoms as it was rising, and the papacy then subdued 3 of these kingdoms as it was rising from the divided kingdoms of Rome. The Bible then says it will rule for a time, times, and the dividing of a time, or 1,260 years, and the papacy just happened to rule exactly 1,260 years. The Bible said that it would be wounded after this rule, and then the papacy was wounded after this rule. The Bible says that the wound would eventually heal, and then it just so happens that in 1929 the Lateran Treaty was signed and the wound healed. The Bible says that the Antichrist name would equal 666, and as we saw earlier, multiple titles for the Pope equals 666. The Bible says the beast was, is not, and yet is, and the papacy indeed was from 538 to 1798, is not from 1798 to 1929, yet is from 1929 to now. The Bible says it would be a blasphemous power, and yes indeed, we've already looked over this, that the papacy is a very blasphemous power, even claiming to be God himself, and even claiming that they can forgive sins. The Bible then says that this Antichrist system would sit on 7 hills, and the papacy just happens to sit on 7 hills. The Bible says that this Antichrist system would war with the saints, and indeed, the Roman Catholic Inquisitions saw the deaths of millions and millions and millions of Christians. The Bible says that this would be a church and state, or the whore riding on the beast, and indeed the Roman Catholic Church is a church and also a nation, the Vatican. The Bible says that the world would wonder after this power, after the wound was healed, and indeed after 1929, after the Great Depression and World War II, more people became Roman Catholics than ever, and they still are to this day. The Bible says that this Antichrist system would wear scarlet and purple, and indeed the papacy wears scarlet and purple. The Bible says that they would also be adorned in precious stones and pearls, and the Roman Catholic Church is adorned in precious stones and pearls. The Bible also said that it would have a golden cup in its hand full of fornication, and during Roman Catholic Mass they use a golden cup or a golden chalice in their hands. The Bible says that it would be a Babylonian system, and indeed we've already seen that the Vatican is very Babylonian in origin. The Bible says that the Antichrist system would think to change times and laws, and indeed the Roman Catholic Church has changed not only times, the Sabbath day, but the laws, the very commandments of God. Now I think this is more than enough evidence to prove what the Antichrist system is and exactly what system the Antichrist will come out of. But still some people say, hey, this isn't enough evidence. I know it's only like 25 prophecies that have come true to the date, on the dot, but you know, that's just not enough for me. Well, I really can't help that person. I just pray to God that their soul be saved from the depths of hell, and that they don't, you know, most of the people that say this isn't true are going to end up worshiping this system when it comes down to it, and when the microchips are given. But anyways, now this brings me to the main idea of this entire study. Revelation 17 explains what will happen in the Roman Catholic Church after its wound is healed in 1929. The Lateran Treaty in 1929 made the Pope a sovereign leader, or king, of the city church state. And the Bible says in Revelation 17:9 through 11 that there are 7 kings. 5 are fallen, 1 is, the other must continue a short space, and the beast that was and is not, even he is the 8th king, and goeth into perdition. That is the Antichrist. So this means that the next pope will be the Antichrist. So the Bible said there would be 7 kings after the wound was healed in 1929. 5 have fallen. The first was Pope Pius XI. The second, Pope Pius XII. The third, John the 23rd. The fourth, Paul the 6th. The fifth, John Paul the 1st. And then it says that one is, that the 6th king is, which was John Paul the 2nd. See, one is means that he is the exact representation of the Antichrist. Not the Antichrist, but basically a preview of what to expect from the Antichrist, and that he has something to do with the next pope.